I can't swim. I never learned how to do it, so the idea of drowning scares me to death. With that said, today I'm reviewing The Last Breath, which was directed by Alex Parkinson and is a fictional retelling of a documentary of the same name made by the same director. Last Breath tells the true story of three deep-sea divers, Chris, Duncan, and David, who are part of a group that performs maintenance on pipes underwater in the North Sea. When Chris and David are doing routine repairs approximately 300 feet below the surface, the vessel they are attached to loses its dynamic position system, which causes Duncan and his team to be dragged from the area they are working on. Chris loses his tether that gave him oxygen. The rest of the story is about whether or not the team can recover him in time. The underwater sequences in this movie are well done and give a good, isolated feeling. Woody Harrelson is the star of this movie, and he is always fun to watch in films, even when he's not in good films. Harrelson is fun and charming to watch. He is a seasoned diver who is about to be shown the door because he's getting too old for this work according to the people that are above him. Chris has a fiancée whom we see at the beginning of the movie, who gets worried about his expeditions, as she sends him videos when he is away on these work trips. David is a very matter-of-fact kind of person and gives Chris a hard time because he hung up a picture of his fiancée while they are on a job, even though he has a wife and kids himself. This is about all the pathos we are given for these characters, and I hate to report that this movie is incredibly boring. This has to do with the way the story has no tension, and the people have no dynamic to them that made me care about what was happening. I have seen the documentary, so that may be one of the reasons why I did not like this movie. The first issue I have is that I think Chris is miscast here. After the film is over, you see the real Chris, and I just don't think Finn Cole looks anything like him. So even if you haven't seen the documentary, you can see plain as day at the end of this film that the two people don't look alike. I think the biggest problem I have with this movie, though, is that it's just trying to be an underwater version of the film Gravity, but it doesn't have the emotional drive that that film had. I know that this film is trying to just tell the historical record, but since the documentary of this incident already exists, I wanted some more emotion and tension surrounding the people so I could care more when they are in this horrific incident. Last Breath unfortunately falls into movie cliches that it just pays lip service to and doesn't follow up on them. It's one thing to have the cliches there. That would be kind of annoying, but if they're there to let us care more about these people, I would accept that they are in the movie. But because they are just a few lines here and there at the beginning to give the characters basic movie quirks, even if they are true to the real person, it comes off as flat and boring in this movie. Since this is only about 1 hour and 25 minutes long without the credits, and the incident doesn't occur until about 35 minutes in, we spend the first act of the film following people that we just don't care about because there is no dynamic built around them for us to care about them. Woody Harrelson is charming, as I said, but the man he is playing is paid no insight. In fact, none of the characters are. Once the incident does happen, while it should come off as tense and nail-biting, the way it was edited made me acknowledge that it was in fact happening, but without adding any tension to the reality. The film cuts between the bridge of the ship they are attached to and them trying to get the systems up and running again, but it just seemed like no one was in a rush. It felt like everyone was walking in quicksand or were given a bunch of downers before each take. There's a part about 60% through where we just stop following Woody Harrelson for a good 20 minutes or so. I know it's because he's in the diving bell and can't do anything until they get close to where Chris is again, but it's edited in a way where it just feels like the film just forgot him for a little while. I think the editing, generic action music, and weird pacing make this movie feel so boring to me. There is only one sequence at the end where I finally felt its tension, and I won't spoil what it is in case you don't know how this real event played out, but I grabbed onto that so fast because I finally was feeling some tension. But once it's over, we're back to people being in quicksand with awkward pacing. Also, I'd like to add that when they're underwater, I saw no fish or any kind, and that felt really weird to me. Unfortunately, I can't recommend this movie. I say if you want to know the true story behind this, watch the documentary about it. It's about the same length and is much more riveting, telling, and exciting than this fictional retelling is. I say skip this movie, but maybe that's because I knew the story, so maybe people who don't know the story will enjoy it. But unfortunately, I found the movie poorly paced and just plain boring to watch. I give Last Breath a low 2 stars out of 4. You know a film is in trouble when it is less than 90 minutes, and I felt like it was longer than The Brutalist was. Okay, so what did everyone think of Last Breath? Please let me know in the comments. I'm doing an Academy Awards roundup video in the next couple of days since the Oscars are this weekend, so stay tuned for that. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.